Hi everyone, it's Christine here from Christine's Stampin' Spot, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am so excited to share today's card with you. This card was created using this beautiful stamp set called Healing Hugs from Stampin' Up! Look at this flower. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I am just absolutely in love. This particular stamp set is part of Stampin' Up's new distinctive, D-I-S-T-I-N-K is emphasized for the ink part, stamp sets. There are a few throughout the catalog, and they have a little icon next to them. And what it has done is there's a special process that Stampin' Up has done to almost create a photographic image with just one stamp. So you know how we do those three-step stamping techniques where we get almost a three-dimensional image that pops by layering the different gradations of ink colors on top? Well, this gives you virtually the same effect, but it's just with one stamp. And look how gorgeous that flower is. I don't think that the camera is doing this justice, and I will absolutely have pictures on my blog, and I'll have a link to my blog in the description box below of this video. Make sure to click on show more to see everything that's typed there, but I'll have a link to my blog and some other important links you might want to check out, and there will be tons of pictures of this on my blog so you can really get a good look at what this stamp set is all about. But it is absolutely gorgeous. So this is the stamp set that the main flower is from. I also used these leaves today, but you do have some other leaf images. I also used this background stamp today, which I love. It's great. It sort of looks like little stitching. It's beautiful. And then there's lots of get well vibes. Sorry, I saw this word vibes here. There's get well sentiments in this stamp set, including sending you healing vibes, which is one of the many sentiments in this set. However, I didn't need a feel better soon or anything like that stamp sentiment for today's card that I'm going to be sending out. So I just grabbed the Enjoy Life stamp set, which I did a video on a few videos back. Love this stamp set, and I chose to use this sentiment for this card today, which says how beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. I go through a lot of thank you cards in my little business here, so I like to make thank you cards whenever possible. So we are going to go ahead and quickly put this card together today. This is a very simple card design because I really wanted this beautiful flower to be the star of the show. I am going to have decided, I wasn't originally, but I am so in love after playing with the stamp set for a while. I am so in love with this stamp set that I'm going to be doing an online card class with this. So stay tuned for that. It's not going to be my next one next week, but it'll probably be the one after that. I'm going to bump a couple things and add this one because I just don't want this stamp set to be overlooked in the catalog because it is that amazing in my opinion. And think of all the different colors you can do and create to create this flower. Oh, the possibilities are endless. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I did, as you can see, is I actually cut the flower and leaves out and then gave them a little pop on the card front. So let's go ahead and stamp our flowers and leaves so we can get that done, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let me set this aside. I'm just going to bring over some scratch Whisper White cardstock, and I really save my scraps, as you can see, so forgive that they look silly. But I just like to save them and use up as best I can. I find that's the most economical for me. I'm going to be stamping the beautiful flower in Blackberry Bliss ink. And as you can see, because these are clear mount red rubber stamps, I do not need my Stampin' Pierce mat. This is going to create a beautiful image because these stamps already have that red cling cushion on them. Now, because this is such a intricate stamp, the way that it is created for us, and again, as I said at the beginning of this video, it really gives us that three-step stamping look with only one image. But you want to make sure and ink it up really good, so before you stamp it down, turn it over and make sure you have ink everywhere you're supposed to have ink. So I did that, and now I'm simply going to stamp this down onto my Whisper White scratch paper. And again, this is just some paper I have sitting on my desk. I save all my scraps. It's Whisper White cardstock, which is my favorite for stamping this image because some of it's going to peer through. Look at that. How gorgeous is that, you guys? One stamp down, and I have created this gorgeous three-dimensional image. This flower really just pops right off of the paper. Look at that. I hope that the camera is doing it justice. Please check out my blog for pictures at which you'll be able to see how gorgeous this stamp set is a little bit better in the pictures, I think. Okay, next we're gonna go ahead and stamp the little leaves. And again, let me show you on the cover. I chose to use these leaves today. They're connected in one stamp. But you do have a few other options. And I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for the ink color for the leaves. So again, turn it over, make sure that what you want inked is inked up. Now you'll see there's not a lot of ink in the middle of that smaller leaf. That's on purpose. So if you're unsure, pull your stamp case back over and look at the front and it will show you, okay, I see there's light here, so that's where you're not gonna have much ink if you're unsure if you've gotten your image inked up properly. So we're just gonna stamp this down and we're gonna do this one more time and stamp this down here in the corner. So I've smushed all these together on this one piece of cardstock because we're going to be cutting them out. Now to save time for the video, I already went ahead and did that. So let me show you what it looks like cut out. And these images are so easy to fussy cut out. I am not a good fussy cutter and I really don't even like doing it, but this was so easy. You just really are able to cut this out very quickly. So I just wanted to save time for the video and did that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to adhere our little leaves to our flower. So to do that, I'm going to grab a mini glue dot, my mini glue dot roll, and I'm going to put a little tiny glue dot here on the front of my leaves, and I'm just gonna play with the flower for a moment, figure out where I want my leaves, and then just stick it down like so. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with my other set of leaves. So we just put the little glue dot on the front of the leaf, so on the green ink side there, and then stick it down to the back. And now we have this beautiful flower. Can you guys see that? How gorgeous is that? Oh, I'm just in love. And again, it looks different with each ink color that you use. So really fun stamp set to work with. Now, as you can see, most of our work is done. I'm going to now put the rest of the card together. We have one more thing to ink up, and that is our sentiment. So I'm going to bring over a piece of soft suede cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And because I am using that sentiment from the Enjoy Life stamp set that is photopolymer, I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm also going to bring over a piece of scratch paper. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that sentiment in my upper right hand corner, and I'm going to ink it up in the Blackberry Bliss ink. So let me go ahead and open that up, and I'm going to put my sentiment on my clear block here, and now we'll just put this in our Blackberry Bliss ink, and then we'll just stamp it down as straight as you can in that top right corner of your soft suede cardstock. I really love the combination of Blackberry Bliss and soft suede. I actually was designing a class that I just recently posted. The registration for that class is open until Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and that's using the Love You to Pieces bundle in the new catalog. And but I came up in designing that class with this color combination. It's not one I had used before, and I fell in love with it, so I decided to use it for this card as well. Okay, so we have our sentiment stamped in the right hand corner. Now I'm going to take, we're done with our Stampin' Pierce mat. I'm going to take the little background image that almost looks like stitching here from our Healing Hugs stamp set. And because this is, again, the red rubber clear mount stamp set, we do not need to use our Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm just going to use some soft suede, and I'm just going to create a little texture in the background here underneath where we're going to be sticking our flower. So I'm just going to ink this up in the soft suede, and I'm going to do a couple practices to make sure I have this nice and straight, or as straight as I can. All right, that looks good. So now we're just going to kind of stamp this down. A little bit of it is off the paper, a little bit is on the paper. And I'm not going crazy. I'm not doing a whole background here. I'm just doing a little bit of texture just to add a little bit of interest to this bottom left-hand side of our cardstock where our flower is going to be popped. So that's all I'm doing, just a little bit. That's certainly a step you could leave out if you prefer, just a design choice. And we all have our own likes and dislikes. I just thought it kind of added a little bit to it. Okay, the next thing I have is some Blackberry Bliss cardstock to layer this onto, and I actually cut that wrong, so we can fix that super quick. Let me grab some Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and you want to cut this piece to layer behind your soft suede, so you want it to be 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. So I'm just going to grab my trimmer, and we'll cut this at 3 1/2, or 4 1/2 rather, by 3 1/2. All right, now we can set that aside. Scooch my trimmer back over here. And now this will layer beautifully, as you can see, on top of the Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Excuse me. Gosh, I'm cutting paper wrong. I'm sneezing on this video. This is definitely a bloopers tape here. All right, let's go ahead, and now we just center our soft suede over the Blackberry Bliss. I hope you guys like this color combination. I fell in love with it. And like I said, I use it for one of the cards in my current class. I love it. Okay, so now the next thing that we want to do is we're going to go ahead and adhere our beautiful flower to this bottom corner, and see how that stitching, that little background that we did barely peeks out there. That's the look I was going for. That's why I wasn't too super worried about it being perfectly straight or anything like that. It just creates a little bit of interest on that bottom left-hand corner. So now I'm going to grab some dimensionals here, and I'm going to stick them on the back of our flower. Remember, we've already stuck our leaves to the back of the flower. I'm going to be peeling the backings off here, and now I'm going to pull over the finished card so you can see I did my little gold metallic thread here behind the flower. Can you guys see that? That is something that I do on a lot of my cards. The metallic threads are absolutely beautiful and very inexpensive. You get a ton on a roll. It'll last you a really long time. I mean, I've done, I think, 3 different card classes using this particular roll, plus several of my own cards, and I still have this much left. So you really get, and it's I think $4 or something for a roll of it. Comes in gold, silver, copper, and rose colored. They're all absolutely beautiful. And again, it's just one of those design ideas that I personally love. You might not, and that's fine. You can leave this step off if you prefer. So all I do is I just wind it across the back here and stick it to the dimensionals that I've already stuck down on the back. I find that the metallic thread is so thin that I don't have to worry about it eating up all the sticky that's on the dimensionals. It's not a problem, I have found, for me. So I'm just going to finish kind of winding this along the back, just making sure a bunch of it peeks out around the corners of our flowers. So that's kind of what this looks like here. Can you guys see that? Just a little bit peeking out. It'll show up in the pictures as well. That'll be on my blog. And now I'm just going to stick this in the corner here of this little piece of cardstock. There we go. Okay, now it's time to bring over the rest of the materials that we need to complete our card, which is simply our card base, which is an A2 size card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and this is in Blackberry Bliss. And then I have a piece of crumb cake here, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to put some adhesive on the back of the, I'm sorry, I think I said crumb cake. This is still soft suede. I usually use crumb cake, so if I said crumb cake, I'm sorry. All the cardstock today that's brown is soft suede. So I'm going to center that on the top of this card base here. And now I have a piece of our beautiful gold glitter paper. I love our glitter papers. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to stick some adhesive on the back of this. And this, by the way, was cut to 5 1/4 by 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to line this up at the bottom of our soft suede cardstock here on the front of our card base, and then stick that down. If you get some glitter everywhere from your paper, I just have some of these Swiffer dusting cloths, and they take that glitter right off. So then you won't get glitter all over your project or your table and the other projects you might be working on. And now we simply have to stick this to the front here, our little stamped panel. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals for that because I like a little pop. You don't have to use dimensionals. If you just want it flushed down, you can just use regular snail adhesive if you prefer. So I'm going to peel these little dimensional backings off here, and then we're just going to center this on the top of our card base here. Because this is a dark card base, you'll probably want to stick a piece of Whisper White on the inside. I haven't done that yet, but I will before I mail this out, just to be able to write your message. And there we go. The very last thing that I did is I took a few of our metallic pearls in the gold color, and I stuck some of these on the front of the stamped panel. So let me just do that super quick. I just really love adding texture and a few embellishments here and there. Certainly, again, it's beautiful without it. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. Or if you don't have the metallic pearls, you could use rhinestones, you could use regular pearls. I just had a gold theme going on, so that's why I chose the metallic gold pearls for today. And that's it, guys. That is how quickly we were able to put together this beautiful card. Let me bring it up to the camera again so you can really see that metallic thread, the beautiful image there of the flower and the leaves. Our gold glimmer paper really makes everything pop, I think. So here was the card that I made before coming on camera. You can see I have a little bit more metallic thread wound back behind the original. And you know what? I did forget one step. I put a little tiny piece, and it barely peeks out, of Blackberry Bliss twine, which comes in the Nature's Twine pack. It comes with 3 other colors. You can barely see it. It just barely peeks out there. And I did put that on top of the gold glimmer paper. I forgot to do that for our purposes today, but I think it's still really pretty without it. You could also just take a little strip of cardstock if you wanted instead of the thread. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this card. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by and stamping with me today, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.